It's no coincidence that you're here watching this video. And before your skeptical side tries to explain everything rationally, let me tell you something that perhaps no one has ever told you. If you have made it this far, your consciousness has already crossed invisible portals that most do not even know exist. And yes, you are already in the fifth dimension, without even realizing it. Sound strange? Perhaps. But what if I told you that everything you feel, that quiet restlessness, that sense of not belonging, the spiritual symptoms that no one can diagnose, are clear signs of your transition? That your awakened soul is breaking away from the old frequency of 3D? This is not cheap mystical talk. It's real, and more people are waking up to this new era. The world as we know it is cracking, inside and out. And you feel it. Relations have changed. The way you see life has changed. There is something inside you asking for expansion, asking for truth, asking for light. And the most incredible: you are not alone. You are part of a generation of bridges, which came to anchor a high consciousness, even in the midst of chaos. Now, be careful, this does not mean that the journey will be easy. But I assure you, it is worth every step. Throughout this content, you will understand why certain discomforts appear, why the collapse of reality is necessary, and how to transform all this into a spiritual mission. And if any part of what I say touches your heart, comment on the word, "I woke up." I will know that you felt the call. Have you ever noticed how, since you were little, there was something in you that didn't fit the pattern? As if the world around you is spinning at a different frequency than yours. It was a subtle call, almost like a whisper from your awakened soul, asking you to look inward, not outward. This is no coincidence. It is the beginning of your journey to higher consciousness, that starting point where you feel, without understanding, that you were born for something greater. Many tried to silence this call. They said it was lack of focus, head in the clouds, or even rebellion. But you always knew there was more. It was not escape, it was search. Search for a truth that goes beyond matter, for a purpose that vibrates in 5D energy, for a spiritual mission that did not yet have a name, but already guided you in silence. This, my friend, is the beginning of the planetary transition taking place within you. That call manifests itself in the little things, that sense of déjà vu, the discomfort with shallow conversations, the impulse to help without wanting anything in return. These are signs of the rise. They are the parallel realities flashing before your eyes, waiting for you to see them with your inner light. And when you start listening to that, everything changes. Spiritual synchronicity begins to orchestrate meetings, readings, dreams, and even pains that seem to have the right address. You know that restlessness that appears out of nowhere, usually in the moments when everything seems fine. That is not dissatisfaction, it is your vibrational frequency saying that it is already expanding. It's like an antenna picking up the signal from the fifth dimension, even though your rational mind still tries to explain everything logically. And it's okay, see? This process is gradual, respects your rhythm and prepares you for something you can't imagine yet. And as you hear that call, something in you begins to awaken, a strength, a courage, a forgotten memory. And this is where the journey intensifies. Because when you start aligning with this new era, with this new frequency, reality, as you knew it, is beginning to show its cracks. Suddenly, what was once safe begins to crumble. Relationships shake, careers lose their luster, old habits no longer bring comfort. It's as if the universe has pressed a reset button, but only for you. What's happening? The answer lies in the planetary transition. It is the silent collapse of 3D, which unravels at the birth of heightened consciousness. The awakened soul can no longer live in illusion. You begin to realize that something invisible is stirring the gears of your life. Friendships dissolve as if they never existed, and doors close without explanation. But the truth is that these are all signs of ascension. The vibrational frequency of the fifth dimension requires space, emotional, mental, and even physical space. And the old, as comfortable as it may seem, needs to give way to the new. Many panic at this stage. After all, no one likes to see their world falling apart. But the mentor knows, that's exactly where rebirth happens. It's like renovating a house, you need to break down walls before you can paint the room. And in the spiritual journey, it is no different. Collapse is the cleansing of the universe, setting the stage for your spiritual mission to flourish. Examples: that job they fired you out of nowhere can lead you to undertake with purpose. The breakup that broke you can make room for a relationship with spiritual synchronicity. Even diseases arise as a way for the body to say, there is something here that is no longer vibrating with who you have become. It is life guiding you through energetic portals towards the new era. And when you understand that these cracks are actually gaps for light to enter, something changes. You begin to observe events with different eyes, almost like an investigator of your own reality. And in this new perception, the first spiritual symptoms appear. You wake up with a racing heart, even without nightmares. Restlessness takes over, a desire to cry for no reason, an exhaustion that not even 10 hours of sleep can cure. Calm down, you're not going crazy. These are spiritual symptoms of vibrational elevation. The awakened soul is going through a kind of energy detox, a deep detox to align you with the frequency of the fifth dimension. The body speaks, and when it comes to planetary transition, it screams. It can feel like the flu, anxiety, insomnia, or even a nameless sadness. But behind this, there is a vibrational cleansing going on. It's like changing the energetic outfit of 3D for a light mantle of 5D energy. And yes, it can hurt. Headaches, nausea, the feeling of floating. It's all part of it. Don't fight against, welcome. At this time, it is essential to take care of the temple you inhabit. Drink more water, eat live food, connect with nature. Small actions help the body process these changes, taking a bath in rock salt, walking barefoot on the earth, taking conscious breaths. This all helps to stabilize your vibrational frequency. You're not alone, millions are feeling the same, even if in silence. And look how curious, the more you resist, the more intense it gets. The energy of the new age requires surrender, not control. So, if you get tired out of nowhere, allow yourself to rest. If you have an unexplained crying crisis, cry. This is not weakness, it is spiritual updating. It is as if your system is preparing to access more subtle, pure, more aligned parallel realities. And as the symptoms intensify, something inside you also transforms. You start to see connections that used to go unnoticed, you notice patterns, you feel the presence of something bigger. And then, slowly, unity consciousness begins to emerge. You begin to realize that nothing is by chance. The conversation with a stranger, the butterfly that lands on your arm, the number that repeats itself on the clock, everything seems loaded with meaning. Welcome to high consciousness. This is the moment when the awakened soul connects with the invisible grid that binds everything together. There is no longer separation. The I and the other are diluted. It is the beginning of true fifth-dimensional perception. Spiritual synchronicity begins to happen in sequence, like a secret code being deciphered. You think of someone, and they text you. He feels something in the air, and soon after understands why. This is not magic, it is alignment with 5D energy. At this stage, you become more selective with what you consume, who you connect with, and even what you feel. Because you understand that all of this impacts your vibrational frequency. This new way of seeing the world even changes your routine. Suddenly, taking care of a plant becomes a sacred act. A coffee with a loved one becomes an energetic experience. And even the silence begins to make sense. You realize that there is more wisdom in feeling than in understanding. And this brings you closer and closer to your spiritual mission. Because when you vibrate in oneness, everything you do becomes a channel of healing. Want a practical example? Instead of just doing good, you begin to live good. Holding the door, listening without judging, smiling with your heart, these are small gestures that raise not only your vibration, but also those around you. It is the inner light operating silently. This is the new era in action, in every choice, in every word, in every look. And when you realize that the whole universe pulsates within you, unexpected pain arises. Because, in order to sustain this new consciousness, it is necessary to leave behind everything that no longer serves. There is no way to bloom without first withering. And when consciousness expands, it pushes everything that is not authentic out. This is where the most challenging part of the journey begins, the pain of leaving behind who you believed you were. Yes, it hurts. It hurts to see masks falling, inner truths emerging, and realizing that much of what you were experiencing was just survival in the old 3D frequency. It's like you're taking off a tight outfit you've worn for years. It gives relief, but also fear, and now, who am I without all this? This symbolic death is not the end, it is the beginning of your real identity. The one that vibrates with 5D energy, that knows its spiritual mission, that no longer hides. But the process requires courage. And, often, loneliness. Do you know that cycle that had been repeating itself for years and finally broke? That friendship that no longer speaks to your new vibe? These are energetic portals opening. And crossing each one of them means leaving old versions of yourself in the past. Some memories will weigh you down. Some emotions will scream. But remember, you don't cure what you avoid. The awakened soul does not hide itself, it crosses. A good practice at this stage is to write. Yes, he takes a pen and paper and pours out everything, pain, fears, gratitude, goodbyes. This organizes the energy and helps with emotional detachment. Liberation-focused meditations and herbal baths also help to clear residues of the old vibrational frequency. Remember, you're not missing out on anything. You are, in fact, coming home, to your inner light. And as you empty yourself of who you were, the universe begins to fill in the new. People emerge. Opportunities appear. Messages find you. That's when, almost without expecting it, you realize that you're not alone on this journey. And that certain encounters speed everything up. There are people who cross your path and seem to have known you for lifetimes. Sometimes, he doesn't even say much, but the look, the energy, the moment. Everything gives away that that meeting was not by chance. These are the catalytic encounters. They are masters disguised as friends, partners, or even strangers. They come to activate memories, realign your vibrational frequency, and rekindle your spiritual mission, without you even realizing it right away. Sometimes, this encounter comes in the form of a video that appears unintentionally, a book that falls into your lap, or even a random conversation in line at the bank. Spiritual synchronicity orchestrates everything perfectly. And the more open you are, the clearer it becomes. These moments are like keys. They unlock inner energetic portals that have been dormant. And each key brings you closer to 5D energy. It's not about idolizing anyone, these encounters aren't about dependency, but about remembering. They remind you of who you are. They awaken your inner light. And the most beautiful thing is that you are also this date for someone. By sharing your journey, your pain, your awakening, you activate other souls. The fifth dimension operates in a network. And each true connection enhances the field. For those who are experiencing this, a piece of advice: observe who makes you feel light, expanded, seen. These are the clues. If something or someone pulls you down, it's not personal, it's just vibration mismatch. Seek out spaces, conversations, and experiences that fuel your heightened consciousness. Attend meditation groups, spiritual experiences, or even create your own support circle. The new era is made up of conscious tribes. And when these encounters begin to multiply, something magical happens. You feel at home, even in a world that is still chaotic. You realize that you are already living in the fifth dimension, even though you still have both feet on the ground of 3D. The big turning point comes when you understand that the fifth dimension is not a distant place, but a state of consciousness. There is no golden gate, no passport. You live in 5D when you choose to act with love, even when it is easier to react with anger. When you realize that each thought generates a vibrational frequency and that you have the power to choose which energy you will sustain in your field. Life keeps happening, of course, bills still arrive, traffic still freezes, and the 3D world continues its chaos. But his perception changes. The awakened soul learns to observe without getting lost. It's like being in the eye of the storm, but at peace. You become a point of stability in the midst of the storm. And that's where the spiritual mission begins to manifest more clearly, to live the new age, even in the old world. Practical examples. Choose silence over judgment. Transform haste into presence. Seeing the other as a mirror, not as an enemy. Small gestures that keep your inner light on, even in the most challenging situations. Is it easy? No. But it is liberating. Because the more you align with 5D energy, the less the external dominates you. You start to command your vibration, and that is pure power. A valuable tip: start the day by defining your frequency. It can be with a prayer, a song that uplifts, a visualization of golden light enveloping your body. Make it a sacred ritual. Because living in the fifth dimension is, first and foremost, a commitment to yourself. A vow of fidelity to its essence, even when the world asks for masks. And when that presence stabilizes, a new understanding begins to form. You realize that being here, living all this, is not by chance. You didn't just come to evolve. He came to be a bridge. It came to fulfill something bigger. If you've made it this far, don't underestimate it. It's no coincidence. It's not curiosity. It's destiny. The awakened soul doesn't come into the world just to pay bills and repeat patterns, it comes with a spiritual mission. And this mission is not something you find outside, it's something you remember. Because it already lives inside you, vibrating along with your heightened consciousness, waiting only for the right moment to reveal itself. This call does not manifest itself with neon signs. It comes in the form of restlessness, the desire to serve, to create, to transform. Sometimes, it appears as a profession. Others, like a project, a cause, a simple gesture that changes someone's day. The important thing to understand: your mission doesn't have to be grand in the eyes of the world, but true in the eyes of your soul. And the more aligned with 5D energy you are, the more natural it flows. You become a channel, an interior light emitter. And your field begins to impact everything around you. Your words heal, your silence inspires, your presence transforms. Even without talking about spirituality, you transmit spirituality. Because your vibration speaks louder than any speech. This is living in the fifth dimension, to be a living example of a new era, where compassion is law and truth is a bridge. Do you want to apply this in a practical way? Share your process, your discoveries, your falls, and learnings. Be vulnerable. Truth connects. And your story can be the trigger for someone's awakening. Create content, write, speak, help. Your mission doesn't have to be perfect, it needs to be active. You are already a walking energetic portal. And the more you assume that, the more the universe opens paths. And then, without warning, you realize that something has changed. You are no longer the same. And the most curious? Now you know it never was. You just fell asleep, and now he woke up. But before you move on, you may need to understand why you made it this far, and what that really means. Now that you have seen what few see, the question that remains is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you continue to live on autopilot, or will you honor the awakened soul that you are? The truth is that no one will give you a ready-made map, because your spiritual mission is unique, non-transferable, and irreplaceable. But it only manifests when you choose to align with your inner light. So, are you willing to abandon the old versions of yourself to live in 5D energy, even when everything around you still pulsates in the frequency of 3D? Because living in the fifth dimension is possible, right now, here, in your daily life. But it requires presence, courage, and truth. You have already noticed the signs of ascension. He has already crossed energetic portals that have no return. Now there is only one thing left, to act. What are you going to do today to keep yourself in this high vibrational frequency? What practice will you adopt? Who will you connect with? What conversation will you avoid? Everything is choice. Everything is vibration. And everything is connected. And if this content touched you, tell me in the comments, what was the moment you realized you were no longer the same? I want to read your story. And of course, if you want to continue on this journey with me, learning, expanding, and connecting with this new era, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because there is still a lot of light to awaken in you. And together, we walk further.